My name is the IMC, and this is IMC's Music Blog, Part 3. Today we're going to talk about ego. Ego is about having high self-esteem or holding yourself in high regard. You believe that you're the best gift to this world, that nobody can do anything without you, and that you don't need people to do anything. That you're the greatest thing in this world, that people will just jump and gravitate to you just because. While ego can be good, it can also be bad. While it can be your rise, it can also be your downfall. Let me explain. About a few weeks ago, August Alsina made an appearance on 106 in the Park, in which one of the female hosts asked him if you would bury the hatchet with fellow R&B singer Trey Songz. Alsina replied in not so very respectful manner, and said, I told you guys not to ask me that stuff when I got up in here, but that's not what he said. Anyway, he went on talking about his album. He didn't care about her or anybody else. Like, he shut it down like a boss, would in a meeting or whatever. But his ego and pride got the best of him. Instead of just stepping back and being like, listen, I'm not going to answer the question, he went into full attack mode. You know what I'm saying? Which is what he did. The problem with that is that doing things like that early in your career, it can stop your growth and development as an artist, for one. Two, music and television stations can pull your music and decide not to play it ever again. Three, you mess with your chances for future music deals, film and television, that type of stuff. A lot of artists don't realize this. Sometimes you can put your foot in your mouth and destroy your whole career. Now, you got a lot of guys that have been in the game for about 8, 10, 15 years, that have still not received their due solely because of the fact that they have a big ego. For example, Kanye West. He went on Sway's show and he just bugged out or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Sway was trying to give him advice about how to run a business because Kanye was losing money, and he completely went beast on him. It didn't make any sense at all to do that. But you know how Kanye's attitude is. Everything has to be about him. He says that him and Kim are more relevant than Barack and Michelle Obama. And Michelle Obama, she responded to what Kanye said in a magazine or whatever. But it just goes to show you, these guys are cocky. They do not care about anybody else. They feel that if they're the best producer, they've been producing for guys like Jay-Z, Mos Def, and all these other people, that they should get their props. True, they should get their props, but the thing is that they get so bloodthirsty and money-driven that they forget about the intent and why they really came to the business in the first place. They really forget that. And they often feel like, why should I sell for anything else? And you shouldn't. But there's a time and a place to voice your opinions, and a time and a place to act like a jerk. Doing that on that show was not one of them. But, it just goes to show you, a lot of these guys are cocky. They have attitudes, you know what I'm saying? They feel like, I've been the biggest thing 20, 30 years, you know what I'm saying? I should get some type of props. But there's a reason why your career didn't elevate the way that you wanted it to. Is because you had too much attitude. You didn't know how to be humble. You didn't know how to handle yourself. This is why a lot of artists today this is why they don't last 10, 20 years. Because they do not know how to humble themselves. They get into arguments with record execs and other people. They say like, these guys are trying to take my music. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you should play backseat to the issue. You shouldn't. But at the same time, these guys are trying to offer you money. Why don't you devise a deal where you can work with them, but only related to your terms, and try to come up with something instead of just leaving and be like, I'm not doing this no more. Because pride can get in the way of your financial and economic stature. It can. You know what I mean? It happens all the time. For example, Drake, he's another one that's cocky. He feels that he's the best. He's talking about Kanye and a lot of other artists. And it's a whole bunch of nonsense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, you're nice. You've been out since 2006. I heard Comeback Season. The first track I heard from you was that Replacement Girl joined 2007. I was in 11th grade, and I was like, wow, Aubrey Graham from Degrassi is a rapper now. So I was like, okay, I didn't think it was gonna last. Now it's 2014. You're still in the game, and that's what's up. I'm proud of you for that. But you got to learn how to humble yourself. You know what I'm saying? This is the problem with a lot of artists. They do not know how to humble themselves. That's why they do not have longevity. People like LL Cool J, EPMD, Wu-Tang Clan, and a Mirage and variety of others. The reason why they've stayed in this game this long is because they've learned how to play the game. They know how these record execs can twist things around. They know how people can try to make things seem good one day and bad the next. You know, regardless of those issues and things that they've gone through, they've learned to deal with it in the right manner and say, yo, you know what? I'm not going to let this get the best of me. I'm going to take care of my business and do what I want to do and do it the right way. And sometimes that's how you have to do it. You know, people do not understand. They don't get it. You know, sometimes you have to put your pride to the side and handle your business. LL Cool J's been in the business since 1984. You know what I'm saying? Since the beginning of Def Jam. He was there for like 20 years or so. But this is a man that keeps on going on. Why? Because he has it. Because he was always humble. He always what do you call it? He always thanks his grandmother, you know, that she was a key to his success. That she was the what do you call it? I'm trying to find the right word. She was I want to say catapult, but I forgot the word. Anyway, she was a part of his success, his rising success. And he said that because, you know, she taught him how to be everything that he is, that you see on that screen, that you hear in the music. You know, LL went through a rough life. You know what I mean? His father shot his mother when he was a young age. His father used to abuse him. You know what I mean? His grandparents were the only ones that really cared and wanted to make sure that he you know, made something of himself in his life. His mother did too, you know. But yeah, he talked about how his father did things, and he forgave his father because all those things that he went through, the bad things, it helped him to be the man that he is today. He's a great father to his kids. He loves his children. You know what I mean? He knows how to treat them. But he's had longevity in this business because of humbleness. He's not cocky. You know what I mean? That's the problem with a lot of these artists. They're cocky. You know what I'm saying? Justin Bieber, Lil Wayne. There's a lot of others that I can mention. You know, they just have attitudes. You know what I mean? They don't know how to calm down. I mean, I heard a story from Chameleon on YouTube about how he went to get an autograph from Michael Jordan at one of his parties. Michael Jordan was like, man, I ain't taking pictures with no brothers. And basically just, you know, disrespected him in front of everybody. He didn't say it like that. He said, you know, the N-word. And basically, you know, all the other basketball players, Allen Iverson, they took pictures with Chameleon, you know what I mean, out of respect because they felt bad. You know what I'm saying? When you reach a certain level of success, you don't forget the people that helped you to get there. And that's the problem with a lot of these artists. Once they have 20, 30, 40 million people listening to their music, they're like, yo, I ain't got to worry about the small time folk. You know what I mean? You don't try to come back to your neighborhood and help, but you'll go and help someone overseas.